Well, hey there, and good morning to you. Gosh, welcome to the Ask SelfRecruiter little advice blog here. Let me just share my screen. There you go. Welcome. Gosh, we're gonna have a couple of interesting questions here today. As we enter the fall, although really this is applicable all year round, but as we're entering the fall here, and there's a lot of job search activity. My gosh, we'd like as many of those outreach journeys that we go on, the interview journeys that we go on, we'd like as many of them as possible to end up with an offer. So we have a couple of interesting questions, and one of them is especially going to be around offer today. We're going to talk a little bit about that. So welcome to the Ask SelfRecruiter show, and let's get started. So today's questions, I think I'm getting close to multiple offers. Very interesting situation. What should I do? And then the second question is, I'm worried about how to price myself when they ask me questions like, what level am I looking for? So let's jump in and take the first question here. So, gosh, these are tricky situations. When we think we're getting close to multiple offers, that means we have multiple tracks of interviews going on with various companies. Second, third, maybe fourth level interviews with each company, maybe even an offer's about on the table or even on the table, but we sense there are other offers right here. What should we do? Well, first off, you have to know what you really want. Without these distractions in front of you, and these are wonderful distractions, without these in front of you, what were you really looking for? What was going to make you happy in your career, give you the challenge, and give you the financial level that you need? And of course, even before looking at these, you have to understand yourself. What are those answers for you? Now, when we're getting close to multiple offers, or if we've received our first offer, biggest concern is we need to slow this down somehow. Let's back it up to imagine we think we're about to get an offer. Maybe today, could be Monday, who knows? Any day we're expecting an offer, but I have other ones that are very, very close. Ideally, what you'd like to do is somehow slow this one process down ever so little of a bit while trying to accelerate the other process or two that may be going on in parallel, trying to get them essentially to the altar really all at the same time. So maybe I hold back my responses. Maybe if I've responded immediately to a recruiter or an HR person that has been involved before, maybe I let it go to voicemail or was busy all day in meetings, probably with other companies, while I can't answer that message till the end of the day, so it really can't get acted upon. That's a very easy way to gain one, sometimes 2 or 3 extra days if it's going into a weekend like it is today. On the other one or two parallel tracks that you may have heading toward an offer, the question there really is, well, how do I accelerate those? And this is a moment of confession. To me, I reach out to those decision makers, dear Jack, dear Jim, dear Jill. I hope you're getting ready for a great weekend. Don't forget the personal piece. This is also a demonstration always of how easy you'll be to work with and interact with. Never forgetting the soft skills. Wish them a happy, great weekend. Hope you're getting ready for a really great weekend. Looks like some nice weather. I wanted to get a message out to you because I am very close to another offer. But really yours is the one that I really would like for my career. Is there anything that we can do? Notice now we're switching to collective language. Is there anything that we can do to accelerate the process? And then put a little caveat at the end. Oh, I'd hate to miss such a wonderful opportunity simply based on timing. That's kind of distilling it down to the ridiculous. That is the technique. This missed golden opportunity really for both of you, simply based on timing, who would let that happen? So it acts as a wonderful motivator to see what could they do. They'll probably push back verbally. I'm not sure there's much we can do, or blah, blah, blah. But behind the scenes, they'll begin to think about losing you as a potential candidate. And if there's very strong interest, they will accelerate generally. Slow the other ones down a bit, accelerate these a little bit. You can understand how we need to manage that timing. Now, if you already have an offer that you received, you didn't realize it was coming, and suddenly they go, oh, John, I have an offer for you. I'm like, oh, you do? And I was thinking about the other two as well. Hear the offer. By the way, when you hear an offer, That's not the time, in my view, to negotiate. That's the time to let them experience absolutely no objections or roadblocks, almost as if they're giving them the yes right now. Of course, I would not give them the yes. And I go, they present the number to me, good, bad, or ugly, really doesn't matter. I hear it. Start date. What did they say about start date? I move right to start date, which seems to indicate there must be John must be okay on the number. I never said I was okay on that number. We'll talk about that. But my gosh, it seems like everything's okay. And now I switch to, when would I be able to get this in writing? Would I be able to get this, sometime today? By the way, if you ask for something on a timeline, you need to not allow the other person to answer. I understand that's really not what we're socially taught to do, but in sales, you have to give them the answer for a timeline. Would I be able to get that this afternoon, even if I have to verbally step on them just a little bit? So ideally, multiple offers, you do have to put your thinking cap on. If all the compensation was equal, all to a stunning level that I'm dreaming about, which is really the one that I want, work on getting that one to the right financial level. And sometimes you do have to use the other two. By the way, the wonder of getting multiple offers to the table is then having written offers that you can use as leverage to change or negotiate your offer. That's a whole nother question. So let's take our next question for today. Next question for today. Gosh, I'm worried about how to price myself when they ask me questions like, what level am I looking for? Well, let's back up and take this question and understand what interviewing really is. Interviewing is about you going on a date, about you going on a date to sell yourself. Now, if we actually thought of the dating world, and who wants to think of that, how many dates have we ever been on where Mr. or Ms. sitting across the table date is suddenly talking about their ex, my ex. Not very exciting. So really, when we think about this whole concept of this date, has to be about them. So let's go back to the question, and really, what are they getting at when it's about them? What am I looking for? How do I price myself? My first reaction is almost, who cares how you price yourself? It's irrelevant. What is relevant is, as a hiring individual, that you understand what I'm looking for. So even if I ask the question the wrong way, what salary level are you looking for? You have to learn to flip that question, because you're the expert in your field, and diagnose them like a doctor diagnoses symptoms. Oh, Jack, Jim, or Jill, gosh, that's somewhat irrelevant what level I'm looking for. What really matters is, what level do you need to solve this issue? Let's talk a little more deeply about some of the issues going on with the role. Notice how, first off, I've taken control back of the conversation. I've clearly presented almost a little bit with little laughter underneath that what level I want is really irrelevant. What level I want is irrelevant. What level they need is all that is relevant, so I can sell to that level. And maybe if that level that they need is a little lower than I'd like, then I'm going to sell on a very high level, so they just fall in love with my skill set. And even though I may be priced a little bit beyond what they think they could do, that's a very small dollar difference to have someone absolutely stunning in the role versus having someone capable. The trap here is, but capable people will be a lot less money. Okay, if we're going to compete on price, you can never win. There's no winning competing on price. There's always someone that will do it for less, always someone with harder luck or lesser skills. You can't compete that way. You have to compete as the very, very best product out there. And then the numbers get very easy toward the end of that, once they realize they have to have you for your team. So let's not forget what I teach in the rest of my lectures, especially the interview intervention lecture with all the secrets about interviewing. And that is, your job walking into the interview is to never speak about money. But when never speak about money. Would you like to get the most money ever? The best offer ever? Never speak about money. The sooner you speak about money, the sooner they can put a number with you and they relate that, and it gets very difficult to move that number significantly. But the longer you wait until they make that comparison, till they fall in love with your skill set, realize what you could deliver for their team, realize how you could make their life better, that number is a different number that they think of. And that's a much better place to start the negotiation from. And this is not about negotiation. This is simply how to price yourself. I'm never actually going to give them a price. By the way, compensation level, what do you need financially? All that. It's the same question as how little can I pay you? How little can I pay you? I hope you're a little indignant at that question. There's no way on earth I'm going to tell someone how little they can pay me. And yet that is the question every time. And yet we fall all over ourselves thinking, oh, I have to answer. Do you? Really? I don't think so. It's their job to make an offer to you once they think you're the most stunning individual available. That's your job. Convince them you are the most stunning individual available, not a good deal they can get on the cheap that they'll have to give up something to get. I hope that answers a few questions for today. My gosh, if you'd like to send in questions, you'd like to be part of this, send in your questions to ask@selfrecruiter.com. That's ask@selfrecruiter.com. They'll all go into the right mailbox, of course, so the best questions collect. They'll all be featured here. And of course, nice library of them collecting over on my YouTube channel, SelfRecruiter, of course, on LinkedIn Live as well, and Facebook as well there. Don't let somebody else think for yourself wherever you are in your process. Let's think about how you take control, because small changes change perception. Small changes change the entire effect. Take your first step and learn how to repeat. Thank you guys for joining in. Check my schedule. It's over at selfrecruiter.com. Just under the calendar page, you'll have all my dates coming up, both for my full long length 60 to 90 minute lectures plus Q&A and the short Q&A questions. Talk to you guys soon. Take care. Have a great weekend.